Developed as the final evolution of the Soviet heavy tank doctrine, the T-10M combined raw firepower with Cold War-era engineering. But while it never fired a shot in anger, its design would echo in armored warfare for decades to come. In 1948 the Soviets had three different kinds of heavy tanks in service sharing little except for road wheels and guns. The IS-2 was the most mechanically reliable, but was becoming obsolete with Western countries such as United States and the United Kingdom fielding newer heavy tanks. The IS-3 was plagued with construction and mechanical problems, and the IS-4 was too heavy to cross bridges in Europe and relegated to the Russian Far East region as a result. Kotin personally led a design team to work on Project Object 730 to meet the GBTU, Main Armored Vehicle Directorate requirements for a new heavy tank. It had to be better than the IS-2 and weigh no more than 50 metric tons. Developed at the Kirov plant in Leningrad, the T-10 was intended to replace the IS-3 and IS-4 tanks. Unlike its predecessors, it featured a longer hull, 7 road wheels instead of 6, and a new engine that improved mobility. But what truly made the T-10 stand out was its gun, a 122mm M62 T2 smoothbore cannon, capable of delivering massive firepower against any NATO armor of the time. The T-10 features a cast hull divided into 3 compartments, with the driver at the front, the fighting in the center and the engine at the rear. The hull floor features a stamped steel plate in a shallow V shape. The driver sits on the center of the hull and is provided with a hatch cover, while the hatch itself features an integral periscope that can be replaced with an infrared one for night driving. The turret is made of rolled steel with the commander and gunner on the left and the loader on the right. Both the commander and loader are provided with hatch covers. A ventilation dome is mounted forward of the 2 hatch covers. The torsion bar suspension consists of 7 road wheels with 6 shock absorbers fitted to each side. A 12.7mm DSHK machine gun is mounted coaxially, and an additional DSHK was mounted on the loader's hatch ring for anti-aircraft defense. In 1955 the T-54 tank, designed by the Morozov Design Bureau, and the T-10 were fitted with stabilizers to allow them to fire on the move. While earlier Soviet stabilizers made unnecessary for the gunner to wait until the gun stopped wobbling before engaging his targets, they didn't provide the ability of accurately hitting targets on the move. The T-54 would eventually receive the STP-2 Cyclone stabilizer, while the T-10 was fitted with the POT-2 Grom stabilizer. While a T-54 gunner only needed to point and fire the gun once he had a stable picture of the target on his sights, the T-10 gunner had to wait for the gun and sight to be stabilized together, slowing down the firing rate. While the T-10 had thicker armor than the T-54, it suffered from a low rate of fire of 3 rounds per minute due to the use of separate loading ammunition, limited gun depression, a common feature of Soviet tanks, a limit of 30 rounds of ammunition for the main gun, lack of internal space for the crew, and lack of cross-country mobility. The T-10 had an operational range of 180 to 280 kilometers on roads, which was considerably shorter than the T-54, which had a range of over 400 kilometers, and the T-55, which could drive 500 to 700 kilometers with 400 liters of auxiliary fuel. In the 1960s, the Soviets embraced the main battle tank concept, by replacing heavy tanks with mobile medium tanks. In the late 1960s, the independent tank battalions with heavy tanks were re-equipped with the higher technology T-64, and later, the very fast T-80, while regular tank and mechanized units fielded the more basic T-55 and T-72. T-10 production was stopped in 1966, and heavy tank projects were cancelled, such as the auto-loaded, 130mm Armed Object 770. Anti-tank guided missiles, ATGMs, started to be deployed widely during this period, and would become an effective replacement for the heavy tank's long-range firepower. The Soviets made use of them first on BMP-1 infantry fighting vehicles, but that in another video. I hope you liked the first video of these series, and I wish you have a nice day. Thanks for watching.